Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture we look at concatenation using the append method. Let's look at some of the data frames that we created before. Let's say data frame 1. We have our data frame 1 and we have our second data frame. So let's try to concatenate these two data frames by using the append method. How can we do that? So we have our first data frame and then we call the append method data frame 1 dot append, and then we pass our second data frame. Run it. So we get the concatenated result. So this is similar to what we get by using the concat method. So we've seen this before. If we call pandas concat method and then pass data frame 1 and 2, data frame 1, then data frame 2, we get a similar result. Right? We can also use the append method to concatenate or join more than two data frames. For that, let's look at an example. Let's try to concatenate our three data frames. Data frame 1, 2, and 3. So data frame 1, then we call the append method, and then we pass the remaining data frames as a list. So we'll pass a list containing data frame 2 and data frame 3. Let's run it. We have our four columns A, B, C, and D, and then the indexes are from the three data frames 1, 2, and 3. Okay, let's look at some more example. Let's call our data frame 5 object. Now let's concatenate our first data frame to data frame 5 using the append method. So we have our data frame 1 dot append. Let's pass data frame 5 and run it. So we have indexes 0, 1, 2, and 3 from our first data frame, and then we have indexes 2, 3, 5, and 6 from our data frame 5. And there is a method, there is an argument called ignore index. If we want if this indexes don't mean anything to us, if it doesn't have any meaning for us, we can pass the ignore index argument so that we get a continuous index. So instead of 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 3, 5, and 6, by passing the ignore index argument, we can get a continuous index. So it will go from 0 all the way through whatever number we have, whatever row we have. Let me show you an example. So data frame 1 dot append data frame 5. Then we can pass the ignore index argument, ignore underscore index, and we set that to be equal to true. So if we run this, now we see that our index is continuous, 0 all the way through 7. And we can use this with pandas concat method. So if we say pd.concat, let's first concatenate our data frame 1 and 5 without passing the ignore index. So we get 0, 1, 2, 3 from data frame 1 and 2, 3, 5, and 6 from our data frame 5. And now we can pass the ignore index argument, ignore underscore index, and then we set that to be equal to true and run it. Now we see that our index are continuous. So that's what I wanted to cover in this lecture. So we saw that by passing the ignore underscore index argument, we can make the indexes continuous, and we saw how to concatenate data frames by using the append method. Thank you everyone, and I'll